All right.
Jesus Christ.
It's all right, Janet. This is kind of regular. You're good. I'm good. We got our computers to talk to each other. That's all I care about. Welcome everybody to a guy or a girl, a guy in a movie. I believe this is episode 50. What is this? 35.
Um, mm,
Hey, Hungar the Serverian. Hello, chat. How are you all doing? We're going to discuss this movie called Wild Hogs tonight. And I'm just going to say that when I saw this in my early 30s, it was funnier. Now I'm experiencing all the things that are in the movie Wild Hog. And it's really not so funny anymore. This is the old man version of Spinal Tap if you're a musician. You musicians out there know what I'm talking about. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it's not coming through my speakers. It's coming through the screen. Is that supposed to be that way?
As long as you and I can talk to each other, I'm not going to
Okay.
worry about
I'm not going to mess
how.
with it then.
Yeah,
All right.
because I can hear you clear as a bell.
Okay. That's all right then. I just noticed it. I go, it's not coming out of my speakers. It's coming
Yeah,
out of this app.
that's weird. I'm not upset though. We got a friend. We got our friend over here, Hungar the Serverian. He might be a captive audience tonight until they give him the knockout IV. He's been going through a bunch of crap lately. If you have some spare prayers available, go ahead and mutter one out for our friend Hungar. He's a hell of a man. He's a great guy. He just got a brand new car too, and he's a very happy resident of Freedom Land, Florida.
That's the name of a town?
No. He lives just outside of Christmas, Florida. There's a funny story about that, but I don't really get it because I don't live in Florida. And there's supposed to be like this town called Christmas, and then there's the area just outside of Christmas, which is the Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, okay. So they're like names that they've named them their own town.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I mean, I'm familiar with a similar situation. My place of happiness during the summer is Rochester, New York. I love Rochester, New York. There's a one. It's the damn near hometown of my favorite beer of all time, Honey Brown, which sounds like a black porn actress. But there's just a lot of fun to be had in Rochester. But when you go to Rochester, you realize they have no zoning laws. And so you see like a Cracker Jack house next to a double wide, next to a mansion, next to the HOAs that they must not have those there.
That's
just
like in Florida, as you're going towards the Florida Keys, you'll see huge trailer parks with $1 million trailers.
it's like a waste of money.
Well, not really. It's the property that it's sitting on is worth so much money that your trailer is worth $1 million.
That's crazy.
I know, but it's real. But yeah, are we live?
We are live. We've been live for 4.5 minutes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're good. You look great.
Thank you. I was just uptight, biker chick. See, with the fish net.
You would fit right in with every 50-something's dream girl.
Well, I had a leather jacket on it with like some rhinestones and stuff, but I was like, no, it's too greasy or whatever, Grease from the movie Grease. So I figured that this hooker looking shirt and then this biker necklace and then a blue jean jacket fit more for this to be one of the babes for the actual gang in this movie. But yeah, I thought the movie was great. I mean, I love this movie. I laughed and laughed and laughed again. I've seen it about 25 times. But the combination of comedic actors in this movie is unprecedented. I mean, it's just how well they play off each other. They're still manly and virile, even though they keep their comedy wit about them.
Yes.
Which I thought all of them were very attractive in their own way to be the character they are, you know. But it's just funny because you got you got four guys that are friends, and you don't really find out how they became friends or which ones brought them together. You just get the opening scenes where you get to find out about their humdrum lives because they're middle aged, and a little bit about their humdrum job and their family life and things like that, and the I don't know how the interactions between Tim Allen and his son and him and his wife. Sorry, my allergies are still really bad. But then you get
don't move to Texas, hon.
huh?
As much as I would love to see you move to Texas and be happy, don't move to Texas because we have this thing called mountain cedar over here.
Well, I didn't have this problem when I was in New Orleans. So, ocean air or whatever, I guess, was good for me, the saltwater air. But the Martin Lawrence's character with his him living with his wife, and he's like taking off from work, working with his stepdad, I guess, not a stepdad, but his wife's father, and it's like a plumbing business or whatever. So I'm sure you kind of could connect with him. But the scene where he's walking behind the wife because she's like, "Okay, I gave you a year. Now it's time for you to get back to work." So they're kind of arguing, and the mother is sitting there listening, and she listens and looks at Martin Lawrence's character and looks at him and says, "In my day, women stayed home and the men went to work." And then he looks at her and he says, "In your day, they had to build the pyramids. So how old was that?" So right off the bat, I was rolling because you can't do that anymore. You can't say funny shit like that in a movie between a man and a woman because it's like degrading or whatever it is. But I thought it was freaking funny as heck. I totally forgot about how funny that line was. So
there are parts of this movie that I felt are great, and I love the interactions with Martin Lawrence and his wife, and I just thought she was just perfectly cast. Drew Sidora is just one of the better actresses out of Hollywood, and I just enjoyed it.
I enjoyed watching that, and as a plumber, you're right. I really, when he said, "Give me a year," and then he talks about how like he's got to wear footies on his boots to go into people's houses. I feel that. I feel that really deep in my core. So
that was one of the things that I thought was so good about this movie is either you connect with one of the men, okay, for their type of humdrum jobs they're in. If you're, a middle-aged, or you see yourself where you could be middle-aged. But the thing is that I saw you in Martin Lawrence's character simply because of your profession and the fact that you're married, not anything else, that part. But then you got the character, oh God, what was his name? The guy that played the computer geek, the single one.
Oh, you're talking about William H. Macy.
Yeah, William Macy. His whole persona was this complete nerd, but he's a the only middle-aged man who actually made it to where he never got laid because he's sitting in the little coffee cafe and he looks over and you can see the nice, attractive woman sitting there and her legs are crossed. And she kind of gives him a grin because she realizes, well, if he's in there and he's tech savvy, he's not, he's not a dog, but that he's got maybe potential, because he's not with anyone. That's what I'd be thinking if I was sitting there at the table, and he's looking at her and he starts talking out loud to his computer and stuff, and then he starts talking about animal sex and different kinds of porn and everything. So and then he hits his coffee mug and his computer kind of like goes up in smoke, but it just gave you a little bit. Sorry, I can't help it, I keep coughing, trying not to. Before I talk more, it's going to make me cough. But the thing is that I connected with all the characters. I mean, all three of them. Then the fourth one was the hardest one, the John Travolta character, because he's really, really mega rich. He's got a super hot model wife that we never see. You just hear about, and all the guys are thinking she's, smoking hot or whatever. And he's broke. Okay. And I loved how he's talking to his lawyer the whole time. And he's like, well, with this, that, and the other. And he's like, no, you're broke. You have no money. And he kept saying, well, when we do this, he goes, no, you do not have any money. So you could tell that he's having a hard time accepting his new position in life, which is penniless. So when they finally set up to go on this biker trip with their cute little, leather jackets and stuff that I guess it was Tim Allen's wife made the patches and put them on the backs of their jackets for them. So I think the whole setup for the thing was totally believable to me. It was so cute because I was one of them wives that was very supportive. If my husband was to come to me and say, I'm in my humdrum life and I this, that, and the other, I'd be the one saying, well, go on a golfing trip or go and do something, So I thought that was really cute how both the wives were trying to talk their husbands into trying out something, except for, the one wife was trying to talk her husband into doing this stuff, and the other one was like, get a job because she'd been working though. See, so you got two totally different aspects from two wives that you could tell love their husbands and that they're doing the best they can with the circumstances that they have for the opening, to promote why they're taking this trip.
Janet, I think we just got sponsored.
What do you mean?
Our friend Hungar the Starvarian for $5 says, do Logan's Run soon, please. That kind of kicks me into a small segue here.
Oh, that's a great movie. Yeah, we could do that.
Hungar, I'm going to share his site. I just want to say that Hungar has been one of the nicest men that I've met in the past month. And he's a friend of mine, James's brother, DM James, or Constantine, for those of you that do know him. Hungar's got a website called T Public, and that's in the chat there. If you go to T Public right now, you can get this Hungar the Starvarian T-shirt, and this is a great T-shirt. Okay, now I'm a big guy. Who am I kidding? $15 for a shirt. That right there. If you guys are looking for something fantasy themed to show off to your friends on game day, this is one way to show it and one way to support a fellow gamer in our community. Hungar's a hell of a guy. Let me get this copied and posted.
You get too far away. I can't hear you.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Anyway, I just wanted to get Hungar's shirt out there because he threw his link up there, and I'm like, oh yeah. But then I noticed he had his shirts on sale. They're usually $22. got them on sale for 14 for you small people. For me, big guy, 2X, it's a $15 shirt. And he has a few other designs available. Hungar for $5 says, please do Logan's Run. That's going in my immediate list. Thank you.
Good. That's a good movie.
It's a fantastic film.
I forgot it was Jenny Auger was in that movie.
Yes. Farrah Fawcett's in that film as well, and she's amazing.
Well, I can't say that because she's a blonde. I had 2 blonde sisters, so I had to compete with blondes growing up.
Check out Hungar's t-shirts there. He's got some amazing designs. I like the one of him standing above the scantily clad femme fatale there, but there's a couple other shirts that you should look at. One of them looks like the wig that I wear from time to time. We're gonna go for about 2 hours, and then we're gonna have we got some sad news, Janet.
Oh, you don't want to talk about it now since you got my interest piqued?
Well, you love Star Trek 2, right?
I what?
Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan.
Yes.
Okay. Kirstie Alley has just passed.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that. What happened?
She had a brief bout with cancer. Tonight, her family and manager announced they're sad to. I'll just share this as well. This is not that I don't want to talk about Wild Hogs, but we'll just give a brief moment to Miss Kirstie Alley. And sad to inform you,
she was so funny and such a good talent.
She was perfect. For her being my parents' age, there's a lot of Sad to inform you that our incredible, fierce, and loving mother has passed away after a battle with cancer, only recently discovered. Allie's children, True and Lily Parker, wrote in a statement that was shared on Allie's Twitter. She was surrounded by her closest family and fought with great strength, leaving us with a certainty of her never-ending joy of living. Whatever adventures lie ahead. Not as she was on screen, she was an even more amazing mother and grandmother. I think that was recent. That was 2016 right there. I liked her kind of. You're going to think I'm a pig, but I liked her kind of thick. Not fat actress thick, but shortly after that, when she came down about 70 pounds to be about a 160, 170, that was like peak Kirstie Alley, in my opinion. And I know I'm a pig, but that's just me.
Not everybody wants a bone. I mean, bone to hug on to, a skinny and boned woman.
Yeah, nobody wants a bone.
Well, she was a beautiful woman and a wonderful actress. And yes, I did love her. I loved her on Star Trek, but I also loved her on Cheers.
She was great on Cheers.
Yeah, she was a great actress.
She was great on Fat Actress. I don't really know of any show that I watched of hers that when she started to act, she didn't seem to just take the role and take off with it.
Wasn't she in the movie Porky's Backyard?
I'm not certain that.
No, that was the other girl. They look similar though. She's the one that got turned on by the smell of the men's locker room, but it wasn't her. It was another actress, but they look similar to me. I can't remember what her name is.
Thinking Kim Cattrall, but that's not it.
Yeah, Kim Cattrall. That's it.
Okay, that is.
Don't you think they look a lot alike? I guess because I'm a girl, I just noticed that they have similar shape and body and height, skin tone, things like that.
Hungar's like, Janet, I would pick you over your blonde sisters anytime.
Well, you haven't seen my sisters, so.
Pretty certain Janet's entire family is just hotties.
Well, my oldest sister, I think she's the most beautiful one. She's like almost 2 inches taller than me, and she has an olive complexion. She has brown eyes though, and her hair's really, really dark, and she's built like Cher, so she's really just gorgeous, like my dad. My dad's, from Italian descent and very Italian. It's got that round, look that a lot of people seem to like. And then my sister Kathy, the second one, she is like 5'3", something like that, and blonde and built like Dolly Parton. So,
Yeah.
and the only bad thing is when you're that short and you're built like that, you just tend to get, you start to look like you're going out because you're not getting taller. So at least I have height on my side because I'm 5'9". So I have to pack on a lot of weight before I start looking like I'm growing wider than my height. So I'm lucky with that aspect.
True.
But,
very true.
But do you want to go back to the movie now, or?
Yeah, we could discuss that and discuss this movie called Wild Hogs that we're discussing. Although it does kind of tie into the sad news of Miss Sally passing, because it's Wild Hogs is about growing older. It's about those things, where you want to chase things that you had when you were a kid, and you become a man, and you're like, I can do these things, and then you get a family, and you're like, responsibilities.
Well, we become complacent. We start just like from the woman's perspective, you come home if you're not working, if you're a stay-at-home mom, like Tim Allen's wife was, you just cook and you clean and you make sure the house looks nice, and your husband comes home and his pants are pressed, and the humdrum boring stuff. And that's what cracks me up when I talk to lots of men and the guys, about why they cheated or whatever. And they said they were, it was a humdrum, boring lifestyle. And I'm like, well, it's boring because they're trying to make it easy, every day. So when you come home from work, everything's done and you're ate, you get to eat and you get plenty of sleep and whatever. You can't take care of your kids and keep your house spotless and make appointments and go grocery shopping and do the laundry and do all that stuff and look like a sex pot 24/7, unless, you come home from work and you say, okay, I'm gonna take care of the kids, go take a hot bath and get dressed in something sexy, whatever. I got a sitter, something like that. But see, it just doesn't happen. And it ruins a lot of good relationships because we're wondering what happened to our lives. And then we start looking outside instead of trying to help fix what's on the inside to, pump each other up and give each other, what made you attracted to each other in the first place. Because if you could, look across the room and see the same person that you fell in love with every single day, in the sexiness of them or whatever, that would be great. But that's what imagination is for, and that's what cosplay is for, and that's what daddy date night is for, where you get to go out and say, okay, it's daddy's night, we're going so and so, I'm gonna take you to this club or this restaurant to eat, or something like that. And then the next week you let her pick something. It's mommy's date night, where mommy gets to pick where she wants to go and what kind of fun you're going to do. So spice it up a little bit and let each other come up with surprises for each other. There's so many different things that people can do to spice up their relationship. And that's why I thought this was adorable in the whole aspect with the William Macy's character, because even though he was middle-aged, just like the other ones, and he didn't have someone special, he was able to find somebody out in the middle of nowhere.
Literally out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and was it Madrid? Yeah, Madrid was the name of the town, and she was a really hot babe. But I like the fact they didn't pick some 20-year-old bimbo to be the woman out there. They picked a woman that looked like, she was maybe in her 40s.
She's in her 50s, I think.
Very attractive, very funny, witty. And they gave her own home. And she apparently she had a business of some sort, a restaurant. So she was, a self-efficient woman. They didn't make her a wimp, and they didn't make her woke. You know what I mean? So it just had so much potential in all directions, but it also made them believable characters. They weren't, just so far fetched. You're like going, oh, please, that doesn't fit. But now the Fuegos, they were a little over the top, but the way they set it up to where when they see the biker bar when they show up, and they first go in, and you see all the bikes out front and stuff, and you hear the music, and it's out in the middle of nowhere. Okay, but it's not. It didn't make it so far-fetched. See, they're on a road trip. They're on motorcycles. You see other motorcycles here and there on their little trip from the aerial shots. So they made it, I thought they made it very believable, the whole aspect of it. I just think it was exciting. If I could ever do something like that, I'd get, I'd want a Can-Am or something, or it would be a little more of a luxury ride than a vibrating motorcycle where you know what I mean? Your ass is gonna be sore every night when you get off, and because I don't know if any of you are motorcycle riders or horse riders, but you go horseback riding all day, you're gonna be saddle sore. And I'm sure that if you're not a bike rider or a motorcycle rider, that they were gonna be sore too after going across country riding a motorcycle. But the whole concept of how they just get everything together and decide to go, like with Martin Lawrence's character, pretending to tell his wife, and they all figure it out really quickly that he didn't tell her. He just said he was going on a convention because he knew he didn't want to fight with her, but he really wanted to go because he really needed that boost of enthusiasm to maybe go back and work on that, get a real job again and start making some money, because him sitting there writing his book or whatever it was he was working on, taking a year off from work, was not going to work anymore. So I thought that all that was really good.
Hungar the Strawberrian calls it monkey butt. You sit too much on your tushkas, and you get this weird dry sensation. They actually have monkey butt powder at truck stops, which that's a thing. I have some in my truck at work because sometimes I will be in the truck for 6 hours a day, and you don't want to have to powder your butt with monkey butt. But
well, I think that has a lot to do with whether you have meat on your ass or not, because most people that I know that work out or do butt crunches, things like that, have a little muscle, they never really get chapped ass, even when they were horseback riding or whatever. But most of the people I know, especially middle-aged men that I've noticed, their pants ride lower, because they got their little round belly, in the front. So the pants hang a little more in the back because you don't really have a butt. You have a back crack, whatever you want to call it. So
I'm not personally attacked.
Well, unless you're like a stripper, a male stripper, because I've seen a lot of the male stripping routine, exercise routines that you can download and work on certain, Maximus glucomus, is that how you say it, or something like that? Glucus maximus or whatever. Yeah. So you can pick and choose what you want to work on, but most of the time, guys think if they sit on their ass and watch sports on TV that they'll get a fat ass, but it doesn't work that way. You get a flat ass.
Yeah, I sit too much.
One of my videos that I have on my channel. Sorry, I mean I haven't talked in 2 weeks, so I'm just full of wanting to gab tonight. But sorry. One of my videos that I made is about that, because someone had wrote in and asked me one of the things that motivates me to work out, because I even went and worked out today. So, I'm kind of a little bit worn out, but I needed to get back into it again. But I put on there that I like to work out because I want to be a badass with a great ass. So that's one of my videos I did. But it takes effort. If you want, whether you're a guy or a woman, even though you're older, that doesn't mean you got to be all flabby and muscles in
Absolutely.
the
Take
wrong
care of
spot.
yourself.
So yeah, you just have to eat as best you can, and but it just depends on the effort you want to put into it. But I'll go back to the movie again. The character, William Macy's character, when they're all standing around right before they're about to leave, and he's showing off his new tattoo. Just little aspects like that, I had to laugh because it's just a believable, goofy, dumb character that you can't help it just laugh and like him. And I think every person that probably watched this movie connected with one of the characters. I mean, you either connected with one of the bikers, or you connected with one of the four guys, or one of the wives. So I really think that there was something for everyone that watched this movie to grab a hold of and support. And then when they get to Madrid or Madrid, they connect with like the really nice. I mean, right off the bat, I got two friends, from one in Louisiana, one in Arkansas, that it popped in my head when the sheriff popped out. That character that played the sheriff, that is like his slow walking and how he deals with things is really slow, and he just absorbs the information, and there's no rush to anything, and that can be good, but that can also be very annoying, especially when you're in a hurry and that's the one person you bump into at the grocery store, and they're talking to you and they're talking real slow, but yeah, I took my wife down to, and you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna jump off a bridge in my imagination. But yeah, there's something for everyone in the character concepts of each of the people, and get to watch each of their character arcs as they progress throughout the movie. It's funny the way that the writer was able to bring that out in such a small amount of words, I think. And I think that's why it was so important to me that they chose these characters, these actors for these characters specifically, because they were able to grasp that character and portray them like they were really that person, I felt. Did you feel the same way?
I thought the movie was fairly believable. I believed in it, the characters.
I believed in the characters more on the third watching than what I really wanted to get into. And I'm just going to say that, like, I didn't feel like I was being personally attacked after the first 20 minutes, but the first 20 minutes I felt like, wait, I've seen this movie before, and I don't remember feeling like they were looking at my life and how can we make a movie about Bruce and his buddies getting together? Because, like, you don't want to make a movie of his friends and him sitting down for D&D, because that would almost go nowhere. It'd be one set, one cast, one, or you might maybe two casts, because you have another cast to play all of our characters, but you don't want to do that. So let's have a road trip movie with a bunch of guys get together, and we'll do that. That just sounds like, oh man, they are really hitting the nail with a hammer very squarely here. And the part that really hit me was whenever Dudley was tied up by the bullies from the Fuegos, and they said, we're going to cut off his legs. And he's like, that's great. I don't need my legs. I'm a programmer. We'll cut off his hands. Pay him money. Pay him the money.
Yeah. Just little things like that is what was funny. But the whole thing, when you're first watching it and you're seeing these guys going to take this trip, and it's a comedy. So if you hadn't seen it before, you're wondering, well, how are they going to keep you interested in this movie? So you had to have villains, right?
Yeah.
So the whole aspect of them going into this little bar, and they're sitting there, and the three guys sit down at the table, but then you get Macy, and he goes over to the bar because he's going to order some drinks, and he's showing the two giant, massive bikers his little Windows Apple tattoo. I couldn't stop laughing because I know guys just like him. I mean, it's just, and they have no fear because they're proud to be who they are, which you should be. And I'm always telling people to be yourself, because I don't think anyone felt, anybody, even in a real biker bar, would feel intimidated or annoyed by a guy like him that's coming in. And proud that he got this tattoo, the first tattoo in his life, in his midlife. But I just thought he was just so adorable. I just loved his character, the way he portrayed himself in certain scenes. I thought was just precious. Like when he meets, what was her name, the actress that played
Marissa Tomei's character Maggie.
Yeah, Maggie's character, and when he's talking to her, and he takes he takes his glasses and they come apart, and he puts them down. He just the little things like that to add to his nerd character were just genius to me, comic genius, because it was they wrapped his character in the nerddom, you know what I'm saying? And they did it in a, manner, because it was just bon appetit. He was just served up perfect for every scene that he was in. He I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he does so many good characters. The actor that played him, William Macy's character. Hold on. I got a cough again.
Bless you.
How he's able to stay so calm and collected on all his comedic roles that he does, but he's perfect for them. And he was perfect for this one. And then now the only character that I had a couple issues with was John Travolta's character, because he was so at the very beginning, he's walking like you'd see him in like Pulp Fiction or whatever. He's got that cocky, head rocking thing while he's walking around thinking his shit don't stink, and he's good at that. That's the kind of character that you're used to seeing John Travolta play, and he's doing the what was it, Staying Alive character, and some of the other ones that I'm trying to think of, but he's got that swagger about him. So him playing that character was really good. A rich, uptight, I don't know what he was. I don't remember what his character was, but
guy.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
He was kind of preppy.
Sorry, I still can't hear you. If you get too far.
He was kind of preppy. I don't know if you.
Oh, preppy, yes.
Yeah.
But
he seemed like that. The image was more important than the actual effort.
Yeah, and the funny thing to me was he was the one to me that seemed to not fit almost, because when you look at the other three characters, they were more down to earth and suburban style, and this was a more high society type of personality. So I was just wondering how they ever that was the one thing where I kind of struggled to see whether. So to me, the only way I could think of is that because of it was high school or something, or college. So the more I thought about it, I thought, well, maybe they all went to college together, and that's why he went on up and made bank or whatever, and got the hot babes and partied all his money away, basically. So that to me seemed like it could be plausible, but the whole thing about setting them up to go on this road trip and why they need to do it so bad, and the fact that he pushes them to go simply because he doesn't want to deal with the fact that he has nothing anymore. He's completely penniless. He has no wife. He has no place to live except for his motorcycle and his friends. Pretty much, that's all he's got left. So the setup is really good, but so when they get to go and they're on their motorcycles, and you get to see a little bit from the aerial shot, it was beautiful scenery, getting to see them on the open road and everything. And then they pull in and to be like the Wild Boys, and they get to meet the cop, the highway patrol officer. I just thought that actor did a phenomenal job of playing the comic relief, basically. the comic relief in the comic relief was so funny. So I couldn't help it. But I'll shut up for a minute. I'll let you talk a little bit about this scenario that's about to come up, if you remember what it was.
Well, I like the cop in here. The cop is like he's top tier comedy, and I'm not a big fan of the show Scrubs, which is where a lot of people recognize the cop from, and I can't think of his name.
Yeah, I was gonna look on my paper here,
but I just when I was watching this film, like they got the awkwardness so good with him. Because John C. McKinley, he was a highway patrol officer in his show. He is just a ravenous actor, and he knew he was going to make him uncomfortable, and then he's wiping his hands and gloves all along the seats of their motorcycles and then sniffing them like
you could tell he got to ad lib a lot to make his character as slimy and disgusting as he could, and I just thought it was hilarious. I loved it. But when he rolls up on them after their tent burnt down, and they're all sleeping out there on the deal, and you got the three guys, just a minute, the three white guys all spooning.
Yeah, and then the man who bought that, he's not even on the mattress.
Lawrence says, "Yeah, how I end up in the dirt? Why is it always the black man that's on the ground in the dirt?" just it was just funny. I mean, you just don't get to do that anymore because it's not politically accepted. Even though I think it's pathetic, how much great comedy is going to not be made anymore due simply to the fact that people are afraid to write funny stuff anymore because you can't make fun of anybody. You can't make fun of being white. You can't make fun of being black. You can't make fun of being a woman or having boobs or, gay men or gay women. You can't make fun of anything. So how are you supposed to? I mean, I just don't see how we're going to laugh. That's why I think these old movies are going to be a good staple for a lot of us because and I feel sorry for young people that are growing up that are in their teens and 20s right now that they're not going to have the same understanding that people like us got to enjoy for the type of movies, the versatility of movies, of comic movies and musicals and kick-ass movies like that one that you got me to watch with the kickboxing through the whole
about the raid.
Yeah, going up the building to get everybody out of there and get that one guy. There's just the mixture of great entertainment that we were chosen. We were lucky enough to grow up in a time where we actually got to see it and experience it that these people are not going to have. They're not going to have the same. They're just not. Not going to know what they missed. Is what's so sad. Because we got to experience such a plethora of just wonderful acting and story types. I just can't even explain it because I just feel so blessed to have been able to partake in all the stuff that I have. Because every time I watch one of these movies, even when it's not perfect, I just feel lucky. I feel like, thank goodness I was able to be around to get to watch some of these things. And the fact that you've gotten to see some things that I've never seen. I feel like you sharing some of your knowledge with me has even gotten me to even a little more depth that I wouldn't have had if I hadn't had the opportunity to get to watch them. But it's the fact that I had the opportunity to watch a new movie that was filled with rich concepts and stuff simply because it was able to be made, which you're not going to see in the future because none of these things will be made again. This type of artistry won't be done because you can't poke fun at anyone anymore. So I don't know what we're going to do unless we can talk people into going back and accepting people for their faults and getting to laugh at others for their mistakes and things like that, like Jackass and some of the TV shows that we were never going to see made anymore, simply for the fact that it's politically incorrect to do it. So I don't know. I felt very, very lucky to have been involved in all of this stuff, to get to partake in such wonderful, great acting, writing, directing, everything. I mean, just feel blessed to have had it. But the whole thing where the cop comes in and he's talking to all of the guys, and John Travolta's standing there and Macy's standing there, and he's got his arm around him, and he's like, "You're not wearing any pants, are you?" And he went, "Nope." So but it's so cute because they're so confident in their own sexuality, that even though there's huge innuendos flying around about them all being gay with that one police officer, and they all can tell that he's, definitely gay by his reactions, but nobody's like blushing or anything, you know what I mean? Because they don't look at each other at all in any sexual manner, and they don't feel threatened by each other at all in that terminology of feeling like, oh, that guy's going to think we're gay, but it doesn't matter because they know he's gay and none of them are. So that is a nice, refreshing point of view that you get to see, that you don't get to see hardly anymore in any movies, because you're not allowed to do that. I mean, not allowed to poke fun about it, in it or anything like that. But that whole thing, I couldn't stop laughing. I mean, I laughed until I had tears run down my face, and I forgot how funny the whole thing, because you felt devastated after they look over and the tits burning, to the ground. And then the whole thing with Macy walking around with this poop bag, it's just everything about leading up to it, all around how they interact with each other, camping out, like like real men, that want to walk around and just beat their chest because they're proud specimens of manhood, I just loved it. I just thought all of that was just funny and very entertaining. And then the next day they end up going and getting to is that the next day? Is that when they went swimming, or was that after they met the Del Fuegos? I'm trying to remember. I'm kind of like,
the next day they went swimming, and then the Del Fuegos.
Okay. Well, that whole scene where they all decide to go swimming, and then you see Macy up on the rocks up there from behind, and he taking his skivvies off, and they're all looking at each other and are like, what are you doing? Why are you taking off your underwear? And then you see him dive in, and he's like, oh, it's free. I feel so free, blah, blah, blah. And they look around and they realize that, oh, there's no one here. What's wrong with skinny dipping? We all did it. I mean, how many of anyone that didn't skinny dip at least once? I mean, we all did it, girls and guys. And sometimes we got to skinny dip together, with our best friends and stuff, hanging out, because it was fun, and it was something that was like secretly naughty, in a way. So, everybody wanted to try it at least once to say they went skinny dipping. But, that whole concept was funny. And then all of a sudden, here comes mom and dad and the two kids, and she's talking about her potato salad and, how excited they are because they're just out on the outing and having a great old time. And then the kids are in the water, and you could tell the guys are uncomfortable. And then when the dad swims over there and he pops up right in front of John Travolta's character, the look on his face, John Travolta is just staring at him. And you see the look on the dad's face like, kids, get out of the water. Get out of the water. And he's yelling. Especially since he has a wife and and a daughter. So I could see why he was, trying to realize, okay, they're all, but the look on his face is like, why are these four guys out here all naked in the, in the water? So then you got the whole gay thing that pops back up again. So I don't know. I just thought it was very funny, very entertaining. And you couldn't help but laugh if you had a sense of humor at all about all.
The water, the Shadow brings up a good point. If the water is the least bit cold, like, I don't know how women skinny dip, but when you skinny dip as a man, if the water's cold, the boys go retreat to your stomach. They're like, we're done. We're not gonna.
Our boobs we don't have boobs that just absorb back into our body. They're just there. They just tighten a little bit. They might look a little perkier and stuff, but they don't just hide. You know what I'm saying? Our stuff doesn't retreat. We can't. Our stuff has no place to go. But
Ninja, how you doing, sir?
But it's still fun. But that whole scene was just hilarious. And then when they see the bar and they go in there, and that's when it was basically, I guess, John Travolta's character and maybe Tim Allen's character that noticed that there was tension inside there when what was his name? Ray Liotta's character.
Ray Liotta. Yes.
Yeah. Liotta, that's it. When Jack is like, acting all like not like a nice guy. Like I'll have to get something to drink. Hold on for a second. My throat's really sore.
He's acting really weird in there, and then things just kind of go south. At this point in the movie, this is where some of my friends have checked out because they didn't like the movie from this part on. They thought it was cool up until now, but they didn't dig the Fuegos segment of the movie, which is sad because this isn't a bad movie. It's not an award-winning Oscar-nominated movie, but it is a good little comedy.
Wait a second, I'm taking my jacket off.
Sorry, I missed yesterday's show. Grumpy. I was in bed most of the weekend. Most of it.
Well, the part where they're in the bar and Macy comes back to the table and he says he ordered them all shots or whatever, because he's enjoyed just being a man, out with his new tattoo, and he's just enjoying it. He seems like he's coming out on his own finally after he hits midlife to risk everything. He's ready to risk it all. At least he thinks he is in his mind. So when he starts talking about the motorcycle and stuff, it pissed off Jack's character that there's these rich, stuck-up snobs coming in his bar and pushing their points of view on them and rubbing their money and their fancy motorcycles and whatever in their faces, because he thinks they're acting like they're better than everybody. So he doesn't like them, and he wants to humiliate them in front of his gang, right? So that's when he automatically picks on what's his name? Dudley's character. And he says something about the panhead, motorcycle or whatever. And he's like, you can have mine. I'll let you have mine if you can just take your bike, or we'll swap bikes. He goes, oh, that wouldn't be fair, because he had him set up from the beginning, and he knew that was the one person in that group of guys that would fall for it. So when they all go outside and they walk down there and realize that the motorcycle's a piece of junk, it's just pieces and parts of a motorcycle. And the other guys knew that pretty much, especially John Travolta's character knew that he was getting ripped off, and he was pissed off about it, but he knew he couldn't do anything because it's a whole gang, a whole biker gang bar filled with, a whole bunch of bikers. What are they going to do? Nothing. So basically they end up leaving, and you got uh, Dudley sitting in a sidecar hooked to John Travolta's motorcycle. So I just thought that whole thing was just funny, because they're like their trip is not as good as and macho and fun as exciting as they thought it was. And the one that really got hurt the most was the one person that seemed to have accepted it. The fact that, he's just not top dog. And he was able to just say, well, I'm stuck to sitting in the sidecar because I got ripped off. But he seemed to handle it well, like his person is always dealing with the fact that he's just taken advantage of. And, his whole life, I guess, he's always been bullied and pushed around. So that whole thing seemed, sad. You kind of felt sorry for him and stuff. But John Travolta is just steaming because at this time, now he's thinking about, even though no one else knows about it yet, that he's lost everything. He has no home. He doesn't have a woman. He doesn't have any money. He doesn't have anything left but his friends and his motorcycle. So he's just pissed, and all he's thinking about is that, I'm going to go back and get that bike back. They're not going to get away with this shit, because he's dealing with his loss without his friends because he's too ashamed to tell them what's actually happened to him. So he leaves them and tells them he'll be back in just a little bit, and he leaves and he's going to go get his bike back or whatever, or talk to them and try to get the motorcycle back. So he ends up going there and then ends up not realizing. Now he wanted to make them pay in a way by sneaking in there and getting that motorcycle back. But he didn't realize the extent of how bad what he was going to leave for them. He didn't realize that he was going to destroy their whole bar. Sorry, it's my Alexa. But so when they end up coming out there, when they all drive by with this motorcycle, the other motorcycle again, that's when they realized that somebody had came and pulled a fast one on them. So, and that other guy, the crazy guy that says that he was going to rip their balls off and eat them, one, I can't remember what his name is, the actor that played that biker.
Yes, I know who you're talking about, and his name is Kevin Durand.
Yeah, he did a great job of being a nut. Now, the big biker guy that went with Kevin Durant when they went there to find out.
MC Gainey.
Yeah, when they all split up to go to the different places around in different directions to find out what town all the guys had went to so that they could find them and get revenge. I just thought that was hilarious. And I've seen him in I don't know how many TV shows and other movies as a biker. So he is really good at it too for, a bit part actor, not really so much as a supporting actor or anything in that character. But it was really good. It was very I don't know what the word is. It was very nice to see a movie that had so many prominent good actors and have such good parts to where you could say they were all lead parts, not all just were playing off each other so much because they each had so much yeah, they each offered so much information, I felt like. So Jack's character, and then you had the four major characters, and then now the motorcycle cop, he really didn't have that big of a part, and neither did the people, I guess, from Madrid, the town. They would, I guess you could say, they were all supporting actors to the other main characters. But that whole thing where Jack gets to go out there when he gets his gang to go out there to get the bike back from them stealing it from him. And that's when they take off, and that's when the fire starts because they didn't realize that he had cut the fuel lines on some of the motorcycles, and that's where all the fuel was coming from. And then you just see he just sees in the rearview mirror of the motorcycle the ginormous fireball in the background. You see his face because he knows they're dead meat. They're just, you know, that he's in danger. All his friends are gonna have to run for their lives.
Witness protection program
or something, because he knows that he doesn't know what to do, and he doesn't want to deal with having to tell him the truth about him having nothing, and that now they're all gonna die. So to me, all of that was just I just laughed a lot. I mean, I really am glad I got to watch this movie. I got to watch it though before I started getting sick, so I was lucky enough at least I didn't cough through the whole thing. But it was really, really, really good. I needed it. It was a refreshing entertainment to like break up the monotony of boredom or of just, humdrum life and, bad news or whatever thing that's going on, to take me away from just whatever the crap that's going on in my life, because I got to actually see someone else's lives in such worse dire straits than my own. So I just enjoyed it. I thought it was really, really good. And I really think any man that's about to go, that's married or that has kids, or it's about to go through midlife or whatever type thing, and someone who's past that already, that has been through midlife, I think that they would really enjoy this movie, because it has so much to offer on the whole aspect of that your life really isn't over. You just have to put a little more effort in trying to have a good time with what you already have at home. You know what I mean? Like I was saying earlier. Sorry, coughing again.
You're good.
But once they got to Madrid, and they loved it so much because the people were so nice. Once they figured out that they weren't members of the Dualfagos, which you would have thought right off the bat, because of their jackets and just their mannerisms and stuff, they did not act like a typical biker dudes, because they were very cordial, and you could tell they had a little bit of money. They were wearing nice jeans. They had more expensive sunglasses, all that different stuff. So I thought the whole thing was really cute when the townsfolk realized that these guys actually pay for their meals and for their own beers and all that type of stuff. And then you had the other sidekick, comic relief, which is, he looked really familiar, but I couldn't tell you who he was, but I had seen him in other things, other TV shows and stuff. Was the guy that was doing the karaoke.
Okay.
Outside, and
yes.
He was singing and dancing around and stuff. I think he was a stand-up comedian, but I couldn't tell you. But every time they would like give him a few seconds, it gave you the overall feel of what type of environment they were now in, and why. And how sweet and nice all these people were to live out in the middle of nowhere and all be friends, and have this festival out there, the hot chili contest or whatever, where people were coming from all around to compete to win trophies and ribbons and stuff for their hot chili. And a lot of people, I guess, depending on where you live, you're missing out, because in the South, I don't know if they do it in the North, but I'm sure they do some type of festivals like that. In the South, they're everywhere. I mean, in Louisiana and Arkansas, Oklahoma, Georgia, Alabama, all those areas, you got tailgate parties and all this different stuff going on, all football season. So, and summer, leading up to it with college ball and all that type of stuff. And then the professional league. So it seems like football year round, if you're not into, that type of sports or whatever. But so that concept, I think everyone is a believable concept to most people that would watch this movie, because anyone that watches football or anything like that understands what tailgating is, and that you cook ribs or you cook chili, and you cook different things like that, especially depending on what your little town is like, famous for or whatever. And if, just, different things like that. So to me, all that going on in their little town was believable for them to be able to be there for that. So I thought that was cute. And then you got to see the budding romance between Maggie, Marissa Tomei, is that
Mhm.
how you say it?
Yes.
And her character. And she was just, I just thought she was adorable. And her and for Dudley, to hit it off and sparks be flying or whatever, for her to find her little nerd out in the middle of nowhere. I just thought it was really cute. And you had to have a new romance because you already had, the other two romances, and then you had the broke up marriage, the one that's breaking up. So you kind of got really good character arcs for all of the major, the four gentlemen that are going on the the trip, a rediscovery for themselves, something that they the last ride of the wild hogs, so whatever you want to call it, because I just thought it was just uh, I don't know, I just really liked it. I thought it was very, very very good story, good character arcs. I don't even really remember that much about the music besides the actual music they played for the festivals and things like that. So I don't remember any, remember when we watched The Thing, you could hear the music coming, and they had really good music playing. That there was for the soundtrack. I can remember there were certain songs that they played that you remember that popped out in your head, but I can't tell you anything besides the few songs that the one karaoke guy was singing, like the Pussycat Dolls and a few of the other ones. But then everything's going great until the Delfagos find out that they're there. So when they come there to get revenge for what happened to their bar, and Macy, Dudley's character, William H. Macy's character, ends up getting taken. And just like what you were talking about, and how they duct tape him from a tree. And then the guys decide that I think it was Tim Allen's character is going to try to save him by riding under and grabbing him and riding off.
That was a slick maneuver.
Yeah, I thought it was too, and it even seemed plausible for some reason until they tried to do it, and you realize, well, duct tape is pretty shitty because it's some strong shit. It sticks to everything except for what you want it to stick to.
Yeah.
But the whole thing, I just loved it. So I'll shut up for a few minutes and I'll let you talk about this whole part where they're going to do the fight off or whatever you want to go.
I don't not. It's not that I don't want to talk about that. There's some kind of cool trivia about this movie that up until this point, I think mentioning it is kind of important because you have the place for Maggie's bar
Mhm.
that they asked the town New Madrid asked the production company to leave it up.
Yeah.
And they wanted that to be a place where you could go and you could buy souvenirs and you could just kind of meet other wild hogs enthusiasts. Because everybody can identify. This is not like as great of a movie as, say, Field of Dreams, but this movie is in that same tier of films, I feel, where it is a feel-good film. And you have a lot of the parts of this that it just hits you in the feels. It is small town Americana, and New Madrid feels like every town. If you're an on the road person, or if you do a lot of road tripping, you've seen one New Madrid, you've seen 30 New Madrids, but all of them, if you spend any time there, you're going to find a group of people that are very much like the inhabitants of New Madrid in the movie, in real life. And it would be a fantastic day for you
to go find your own adventure to do that. And I think
Mhm.
that's what this movie really sells. For me,
Yeah.
that's what this movie really sells. And it's not it's not, the movie is, Shakespeare, everybody should watch it, but the movie is definitely enjoyable by a lot of standards.
Yeah,
And
for a
there's
comedy because, you don't I don't know anyone that would go watch any comedy, which you could definitely tell by the trailer that it's not going to be a movie that you would a drama that you're going to, take serious or cry your eyes out because somebody's going to die or somebody's going to win a war or something like that, because just by the four people that are in it, that are starring in it, you can tell sorry, that it's going to be based on um, over the top comedy, slapstick. I mean, at least that's what I got from the trailer. I don't know what anyone else would get out of it, but it's refreshing. Like when we got to see the trailer for Galaxy Quest, uh, it had good sci-fi leaning comedy, and this one had nothing to do with sci-fi, but it's definitely comedy. So I don't think you'd get anything else from the trailer. So either you like comedy or you don't. I mean,
Mhm.
I don't know that many people that will buy a ticket to go see a movie or even rent one if it's not something they're interested in watching. Like I do not like romantic comedies. I'm not interested into the something
Wait,
traveling
wait,
pants
wait,
of
wait.
the Yaya
Janet.
sisterhood or any of that shit. I mean, I had four sisters and they were all into all that shit. I hated all that crap. This kind of movie is more. I would rather see this or go see a John Wick than ever pay to go see some. I don't know,
But
some
but
stupid.
but Janet, don't you want to watch Bros?
No. But the thing is, I'm not interested in that stuff. To me, that is not entertaining to me. It's gotta
No.
keep my attention, like Major Pain. Major Pain was I laughed through the whole thing, and I know it's not the same type of comedy as this one, but they're all both those movies are comedies, but with totally different types and styles of slapstick in it, but to me, both very, very entertaining and very good character arcs for the characters, for the stars. And so I thought that if you're wanting to see a comedy, which not everybody's into, this is definitely one I would recommend because it's definitely funny. Uh-oh, I think you got porn bots in here again.
There are sponsors. Along with this, we're also putting up new sponsorships for Balenciaga fasteners, straps, and come-alongs for those of you that are into flatbedding.
I think the porn bots just really like me because they just seem like every time you and I do anything, the porn bots come to see us.
Thank you, grumpy old ninja. Thank you, sir. Um, this movie has a lot of weird history to it. Did you know that the Del Fuegos was actually supposed to be the Hell's Angels?
No, I didn't do
Okay.
any research about any of the background for um, where
For
they
the film?
filmed or anything
Sure.
like that. But I just know that they did really good job at making it look like when they were on the road traveling the way they rode together, side by side, two by two,
Yeah.
and then actually having traffic passing by them, that it made it look authentic, like it was really them riding the motorcycle, especially the part where you see Martin Lawrence's character and William H. Macy, and then one of them gets hit by the giant grasshoppers and stuff.
Yes.
And they're laughing at each other because he's out wearing a regular. None of them are really wearing what I would wear. If I was on it, I would definitely want to wear the full mask over my face and stuff. So I'm not going to be eating a bunch of bugs. But to see them get the bugs smashed in their faces and shit was just funny. And then Tim Allen slowly passes them by and he's laughing at them, and he sees the bugs when they turn to glance at him, and they got those bugs all smashed on him, and he starts laughing. Next thing you know, he gets hit with a whole bunch of bugs. And then you have John Travolta, who drives by, sees all three of them covered with smashed bugs, and then he laughs, and then Carmen gets him with a ginormous black crow. I just thought, even though that part, the scene where the crow's flapping around on his chest, looked fake as shit, but it was still funny as hell. I mean, you can't help but laugh at it, because anyone who's rode on a motorcycle, and I've never really driven a motorcycle by myself out on the open road, but I have ridden on one with another person. So it's exciting and it's fun, the freedom of it, and it's scary all in one. So, and you have to worry about the without a windshield, you're going to get hit by all kinds of who knows what. And what's scary too is if you're on, I would feel more comfortable riding out like what they were doing supposedly in this movie, because of the few things flying up off of the road from other vehicles. That's what would scare me more than anything, is having something shot up from under the tire and hit me in the head or in the arm or something like that. So it's just so much road debris and stuff that makes it really scary. But the way that they filmed the scenery, and with I think they used drones, because it's way cheaper than it used to be a long time ago when they had to use helicopters and stuff like that. But all of it, the editing was really, really good. I thought that that's one of the things I'm always, hammering down on, is the bad editing. It can ruin such a good movie. But this one, the team, the first director, and then you got the second team or whatever, filming, and then they use the second team filming to edit in, to fill in gaps and things like that, to make it more seamless. And boy, they did a good job. They did really good about making it look like it was them actually riding the motorcycles and traveling down the road side by side, passing each other up, and it just seemed very realistic and very plausible to me. So they did a great job, whoever the location manager was, to pick the different places they were going to drive all the way until they get to the very end, when they made it all the way to California. So now the one thing that was a little bit unbelievable is, because if you know that strip of road where you saw the people at the very end when they're riding their motorcycles, and the girls are riding them roller skating and doing all that stuff, there's no driving on that road. So, but you can, if you're making a movie like Earth Girls Are Easy, did some scenes on that and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different movies where you can see actually scenes from that exact, I don't know what you'd call the name of that road or that strip of.
It's just the beachfront strip, I think, is what a lot of
but it's got a name. It's a famous name because people go there, get their pictures taken and stuff like that all the time. But I'm just saying, you will recognize it if you start paying attention to beach scenes in California, that it's the same strip of road. Mm-hmm. And I think it's some of it's even cobblestoned or something. But it's a famous strip of stuff that's in lots of different movies. But the fact that they made it there was really, really good. But the scene where after they can't get William's character down with the duct tape, and then it busts because they're hanging there. Him and Tim Allen are hanging from the tree, and the motorcycle just goes off and crashes. But that's when they realize, okay, well, we're just gonna have to fight. And the whole thing is, poor little Dudley can't even fight because the whole time he's all taped up. He doesn't have any hands to defend himself or anything. So the whole concept of the bullies, beating down the town folks and beating down the four guys that are just four normal Joes that come, and they're willing to risk their lives to get taken out by a big gang of motorcycle thugs to save a little town, and then it makes the townspeople realize, well, we have to take our town back if we want to be free of these Del Fuegos. And so when they finally get to the character arc where the people of the city of the small town realize they want to fight for their town and take it away from the Del Fuegos, that's when that famous biker shows up. Now, when he showed up, wasn't he supposed to be a character from like another movie that was a big biker movie or something?
Easy Rider, right?
What? Easy
Rider.
Okay, well, I never saw that one either. So I don't know, but somebody told me, yeah, he was that actor that came up, or whatever his name was. Was it a Carradine brother?
No, it's Dennis Hopper.
Who was it? Jane Fonda's brother?
Hopper. I believe so. Dennis Hopper. Is that Jane Fonda's brother? My bad.
I don't know. No.
Dennis Hopper is the other character, along with Peter Fonda, and Peter Fonda does a couple things in this movie. The chopper he's on is almost the same one, if not the same one. It's supposed to look like the one he drove in Easy Rider, and then he tells the guys to lose the watches because in Easy Rider, him and Dennis Hopper just take their watches off and chuck them in the grass. They're done. We're not going to give a shit about anything like that ever again. We're going to live by our own rules. And so that's kind of how that is. And he does a really good set of homages within like a 2-minute period of being on this show. It's
I remember.
It's not important cinema, but it's good cinema.
Yeah, I just remember when I did get to watch it. We were sitting around watching it in an apartment or whatever, and a couple of the guys were saying, "Yeah, he kicks ass," and he was in whatever that movie was, and he's an icon and all that. And I was like, going, I didn't know who he was or why he was an icon or any of that stuff. I just thought it was funny because I could tell that it was some type of famous biker guy from from their past or whatever. So, and then when he said, "Okay, Pops," or whatever, so I realized, oh, okay, it was his son that's now running the bar and stuff for his dad. So, when the dad came and told his son, to stop being a bully, don't be a douchebag or whatever, and just, let these nice town folks have their town back, quit being a dick or whatever type thing. So I thought that whole concept was really good, even though I didn't understand that supposedly it was some famous biker dude or something. So I didn't understand any of that, but it was really good.
It's an actor. That's all. And so he's paying good tribute to a previous biker film of years past.
Well, and the fact that Martin Lawrence's wife shows up and she's trying to belittle him and make him get in the car to leave and stuff, and he puffs up his chest and he's like, "Woman, you got to stop, being this way and just, this." Whatever. And he ends up standing up to her. And so he was able to get her to understand that she was very controlling and not letting him be a man, basically be his own man. So I thought that was a really cute. So they both got their character arc where she's getting her man back, where he's going to have a good job and be able to take care of him again and start contributing to keeping the house, and paying the bills, but he also gets to be a man, and not have to have her nagging him 24/7, being henpecked or whatever. And then the other guy, Tim Allen's character, Doug, he gets to have his son and his wife get to know it. He fought real, bikers, and so his dad's not so lame anymore because he felt like his son looked down on him because he was too much of a a boring dad, whatever type concept. So
Yeah.
I thought that whole character arc was really good for Tim Allen's part as an oral surgeon or whatever it was, and his son was like, I don't want to play ball with my dad. He's a dork, whatever type thing. So that whole character arc was really cute. And then
And
you got
if there's anybody out there in the chat right now that you're going through a period of time where your kid doesn't want to spend time with you, just give it time. Seriously, just give it time. Don't badger them and say you've got to come and be part of the family. It's Christmas time, blah 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 blah. They'll come around. They will.
all you got to do, if your kid's into games, find out what game he likes, go play that game, learn how to play it yourself, and then go in there and say, hey, you want to play whatever the game, Warzone? Let's go play Warzone. We're going to take on whatever different level or whatever it is, and your kid will look at you like, what? you want to play this with me? And open some doors and start doing some things together, and you'll be shocked how much fun you guys are going to have together after that. That'll be something you can look forward to doing every week. I think it'd be great. But then you had Maggie, and then you got to see Maggie and Dudley finally get to kiss, and you could tell they were going to have maybe a long-term relationship because of it. I kind of was hoping to see her get on the back of the motorcycle with him, but that's when I realized, she can't go because they're still not finished with their road trip, to go all the way to the other side of the United States or whatever, like they said they were going to do on their beginning of their trip. So I just thought it was cute when she said, he said he'd be back in about a week or whatever. So I thought that was cute. So he had a full character arc where he went from all alone, lonely guy that gets the girl, at the end. I thought that was just adorable. I just thought his whole character was just, I would be proud to sit on the back of the motorcycle with Dudley. I'm one of them girls. I would have loved to have done that. I think that would have been very romantic and adorable because he'd keep me in stitches all the time, I'm sure. So, laughter, guys. Laughter is a good way to a woman's heart.
William H. Macy is such an underrated actor. I actually like watching him in interviews because he seems like he's a fairly intellectual guy. And when I say intellectual, he's not snobbish, but he just seems like he's somebody who he wants to talk, he wants to have a conversation, but he doesn't want to come out dumber than what he started. And there's some people that their whole goal is to I'm going to learn something new today. And then at the very end of the conversation, you can't get a word into them because they're still reviewing everything, and we're kind of busy. I've had my eyes opened. They just talked to you about blah 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 blah. Can we have a conversation now, you and I? Hold on, I'm still thinking about what I just talked about, dude. That was 10 minutes ago. I need to know what you need to eat. What appetizers are we getting? And they flatline mentally. It just, there's some people that just fucking give me they give me the fits. But I think in all actuality, William H. Macy, if I met him over at Applebee's and there was people there, I'm like, hey dude, come on over here. I'm going to grab some appetizers. Why don't you sit and, we're going to feed you. I think the guy would actually enjoy that. He seems like an actor that wants to enjoy the people that watch his films. He wants to get to the people that appreciate his art.
Yeah, and that's what I think, why I feel like whoever the person was in charge to find the characters to play these the actors to play the characters that were in this movie did a phenomenal job at being able to collect these 4 specimens and put them together to interact and be believable and actually be funny, to be able to be that funny in these different scenes, showing their fear of all them knowing they're going to die they're going to all die by these bad bikers are going to beat this shit out of all of them. And then when they're actually doing some of the fist fights and doing some of the fighting, the whole scene where you got the two guys, and I swear it seemed like it was from other movies where you'd seen. It was like they took different scenes from a few different movies, because in the back of my mind it was almost like the deja vu a little bit, like when the little Chinaman's out there and he's doing all the that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Some of the movies that you and I have watched, like with the one with the guys going up in the building, and then you got the other one, the Big Trouble in Little China, and The Crow, and some of these other movies where you have different scenes where they're about to have a fight, but then they have the one where the little Chinaman comes in and he's making all the, all those sound effects, and he's showing all his moves. And then normally, like with Clint Eastwood, just pull his gun out and shoot him, or something like that is what you're expecting. And then you see them just swap spots, the two guys swapping each other back and forth, who they're going to try to take out, like they actually have a chance to beat the guy that's standing in front of them. It just the concept of watching it and trying to put myself in the director's mindset while I'm watching, because you got to remember, when you have two people staring at each other, you got to film that one scene from the different angles to be able to go full, a full 360 all the way around the scene, right? And then so that means you got to film it from behind me and in front of me, and then from each side. Okay. And then you got to get it. You got to have, while they're doing it, you can't have the camera behind me, because if the camera in front of me will see the camera behind me. So you have to film the different parts, the same scene, 6 different times, the exact same scene. So you got to try to remember how you moved your hands, how you reacted each time you said it, so that when they edit it together, it flows together really well and is seamless. So it almost looks like the camera just kept going around or whatever, and it didn't see the other cameras looking back at it. So that type of editing for that one scene, just with the Kung Fu guy, showed that they definitely had a lot of talent working on first and second set people. The ones, the first set is the director and the main characters, and then the second is with the second director doing the scenes with stand-ins or photo doubles or whatever, for them to make scenes to be able to fill in here and there when they needed to, without having to have the actors waiting around, So the whole thing, though, they did such a good job to me at keeping it seamless. Like I said, the only scene that I can even really think back and remember where it just seemed kind of corny and fake was the whole scene where the crow landed on John Travolta's neck while he was supposed to be driving down the road. But it didn't matter, because you got the overall reason what was going on, as each of them passed each other up and saw the bugs and making fun, and the karma is hitting all of them. So I just thought that whole thing was just really, really good. But that fight scene at the end, when they keep getting up, and then you got Jack's character going, really? You're really going to get back up again? And he did really good at portraying just a badass, he just wanted to beat the shit out of everybody. He hated his life, is miserable, he's just, he's just fed up with the world, he just wants to take all his anger out on everyone around him, even his own people, his own gang. He treated them like dirt, especially the real sick psycho guy that that they were saying something about him getting
Duran did not get any love. His character got zero love in this movie.
Yeah, he was treated like shit. But that's why he was such a thug anyways. But it was just some of his lines that he was able to get. I don't remember exactly why he said it, but one of the Jack's characters says something about, yeah, I'm gonna rip off your balls or something like that. And that other guy goes, yeah, I'm gonna take your balls, I'm gonna rip them off, and I'm gonna chew them up. Just it was just gross and perverted, but it just made him look so stupid. And it was supposed to, because it was like that was part of the slapstick part of it, which I thought was really funny. So the director was able to fit a special scene, I think, for almost every single person that was in the movie. It just seemed like everybody had their own special little thing they were able to do, like the scene between um, Dudley and Maggie when he went over there and he's standing sorry standing in line to get to taste her hot chili.
And then he sets himself on fire trying to swallow it.
Yeah,
I'm cool.
All he wanted to do was impress her and get to meet her, because he just wanted the chance, to just say, hey, who I am, and you wanna dance with me or whatever. I just thought it was that he was willing to, even though he had no romantic bone in his body, he was giving it all. He was determined to do whatever it took to get to meet the girl. And that's one thing I think why I thought his character was just so adorable, was because that he no matter what obstacle, he was going to try it. He was going to do whatever it took so he could get this woman. And I just thought that was just so romantic for some reason. I just adored him. But to see him take that bite, and then he's like, it's not so bad. And then you can see his eyes getting bigger and bigger. And then she's like, yeah, it just kind of builds up. So she got her little chance to, I got to get another drink. So hold on for a second.
I really appreciated that scene, because it looked like it really wasn't a scene that they had to act too hard. Here, we're going to give you some hot chili. How do you like hot food, Mr. Macy? I don't eat hot food. Okay, well, you want to eat this hot chili because it's from her. Go for Maggie's chili. Fine, I'll eat Maggie's chili. Let me try that hot chili. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. Oh God.
And then when she said to him, she said, "Don't worry, it won't really make you make your throat bleed." You can see the fear on his face when he took off running, to go to the men's room, I guess, to try to, get rid of it before it killed him. So it was just the little things like that in it is what made it really special, and gave each of the characters a tiny bit of their own personality that got to shine in the movie to make their characters more believable. So I just thought the director was what was his name? The director for this movie? It says
this movie was directed by Walt Becker, written by Brad Copeland, directed by Walt Becker.
Okay, yeah, Walt Becker. Well, and then it said that one of the producers was Michael Tolan. Now, why does that name sound familiar to me?
I don't know. Click on him on IMDb.
Oh yeah, I'll have to look it up. But
the thing I like is that this movie has a lot of neat little trivia to it, like the scene where Martin Lawrence is just being a douchebag and he's squirting MC Gainey with mustard and ketchup.
Yeah,
the Walt Becker made mention of it. I think I want to say on the director commentary, he made mention of the fact that MC Gainey is a hell of a guy, and he acted very well because he's getting squirted with mustard, and Martin Lawrence wasn't giving a shit where he put it. He squirted him, and it inadvertently got into his eyes. And MC Gainey's still there, trying to be as unflinching as possible, and he's doing a hell of a job. Hey, Multi-Gun Man, welcome back.
Yeah, it was that scene was really cute because he was like, no, you took care of the last guy. It's going to be my turn. And the fact that they were able to get away with doing a few things simply for the fact they were afraid of Jack's character. not because they were afraid of him,
No.
but because John Travolta still hadn't told anybody, you know, what he had done to the biker bar until he's sitting in the restaurant and he's biting his hand and he's holding up the menus and doing all this stuff, about to cry, like a baby, because he knows they're all dead, that, and he finally has to admit, and they're like, "What do you mean? What happened?" So that's when they realize they're all gonna die, and they go to what was her name? Marissa Tomei's house. So they're hiding
Maggie's house,
because they all know that they're dead meat and they're about to be hung up by their heels. And I just thought that was hilarious. The whole realization when it all settles in about what they're going to have to go through. So the one character that you would think would have the biggest part in the movie, which would be John Travolta, I guess maybe John Travolta and Tim Allen are about equal on the high level of stardom. Would you say?
Mm-hmm.
I would say, because to me they were pretty even. I don't know for sure. I can't remember when the movie came out, but they seem like they were pretty close in stardom power.
2007, by the way.
I'm sorry, I can't hardly hear you.
2007.
Oh, okay. But sorry, my ears are plugged up too. I'm having a hard time hearing. Maybe I'm talking really loud too. I'm sorry if I am.
You're good.
But
Chat, let us know if you're having too much feedback from Janet's microphone.
Okay, because my sinuses have just been terrible. My allergy. It's like one day it's really cold, like below freezing, and then the next day it's warm and foggy out, and then it's freezing again, and then it's a couple more days of nice. It's like it doesn't know if it's spring or not, and I'm just going in and out of this allergy-ridden, this terrible feeling. So it's just been awful. But at least I don't have any kind of really bad cold or anything like that, thank goodness. But and it's got all that drainage and everything, and I'm taking tons of medicine, but I don't like to take it if I don't have to. But the whole concept of the four friends getting to travel across country and have this one big adventure, and then have the support of their loved ones behind them, and the support for John Travolta's character was from his friends, because he no longer had a family, to support him. But the fact that John Travolta's character, to me, in this movie had really not as many lines as everyone else, or even his character arc really wasn't as prominent. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
So it seemed like he handled it really well, at the fact that he wasn't center of attention. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it just seemed like he did really good at taking the back seat for a little bit in a movie, but still giving a great performance for the character that he was portraying, which it was refreshing to me to get to see that from someone as big of an actor as John Travolta. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It was a very humbling character for him to portray, and I thought he did a really good job. And the fact that he got to do this with his friends, and even though he had nothing anymore, he still knew they loved him and didn't care whether that he had nothing, that he wasn't a famous rich guy anymore, that he was just a normal guy. He was back to just being what was it, Woody. He was just back being Woody again, like they were when they all met and became friends. So I just thought the character arcs for all of them in this movie was really, really good. And it was a great laugh. It was very entertaining from the beginning to end to me. And I recommend that anyone that hasn't seen this or saw some of it because they were like, I don't know how old they were when they saw some of it. You could sit down and watch the whole thing again in a new perspective years later, maybe as a middle-aged man now, to get to see it from that perspective and realize that, it's not over, that you can still, if you're still able to get up and go do things, mow your yard, cut limbs, do a lot of things that you normally do at your home, you could still take a trip. You could still sow some wild oats. I'm not talking about, going to strip bars and stuff like that. I'm talking about going and doing a camping trip or a hunting trip or going across country to visit some cousins or relatives you haven't seen in a while, or going to see your kids or going to see your grandchildren or going to see your parents or, whatever it is, to be able to do something you haven't thought about doing in a long time because you become complacent in your life and you're just so busy, because what are we all doing in life? I mean, we get up, we go to work, we come home, we eat, we take a shower, we go to bed, we get up, go to work. We do the same thing day after day, right? Well, why? Why are we doing it? I mean, we're saving money, we're paying for our house, whatever, but we're not living anymore. We're getting to where we're just a hive mind. You know what I mean? That we're all like, we're like bees in a hive. We just go and we're doing this, we're droning around, and then that's it. And the next thing you know, you wake up and you're sick and you're you can't do anything anymore, but sit in a chair or use a cane or whatever. And how much time do we have left? If we don't die of getting hit by a truck or crash an airplane or whatever, I mean, if we just die of old age, what do we have? What have we tried to do different in our life, or something special that we've tried to do with the people we love and care about in our lives? I mean, to me, this movie proves, if you believe in the characters, that your time isn't over until it's over. As long as you still have breath in you and you can still get up out of your chair and do a few things, you can still do something. You could still make an adventure on the weekend, go on a fishing trip or do something, come up with something fun and take someone you care about with you, your best friend or your girlfriend, your wife, or your son or your daughter, and go do something. Make a memory that is you won't lose, because we can all lose our house, we can all lose our car, we can all lose our things, but they can't take your memories from you. No matter what happens when you move on to the next plane or whatever, that's what you get to take with you. It's what you've accumulated inside your being. You know what I mean? So to me, this has inspired me to think about, stop spending so much time on Twitter and some of my other apps, and start focusing a few more hours a week on things that are more important in the real world, and try to get as many more hugs in as I can with my family and my friends, and be thankful for what I do have. And maybe something more will spark from that, because it's just a feel good movie. It makes you be thankful for what you do have, and try to share that thankfulness with someone else in your life, and tell them you're thankful of them for being there with you. You know what I mean? Even if it's your dog or your cat. I'm sorry.
This is a fantastic movie for the Thanksgiving season.
Oh, I think so. I thought it was great for this type of year, the holidays, because even though it wasn't a Christmas movie or anything, a lot of people get depressed during this type of year because they realize I don't have anyone to spend Christmas with. Why should I put my Christmas tree up? I don't have anybody that's going to come see it. And, I haven't put up a Christmas tree and shoot, I can't even remember how many years ago, because I don't really, I'm never here. I'm always going to someone else's place, or like for Thanksgiving. I wasn't even really here for Thanksgiving. I went to Texas and I had a great time. We ate a lot, we drank, we laughed, we listened to music. It was great. But just because you're not doing it in your house, the exact date that everyone else might be doing it on that exact date, doesn't mean it's not the same meaning of it. Just because it's on a different day because you're doing it somewhere else. I try to look at it that way, because a kid, even growing up, when you had a birthday party, it wasn't always on your birthday, right? It was on the weekend after your birthday or the weekend before, so that your friends could come to your birthday party. So it's basically the same thing. Plan something out, like a week or two out, and make a weekend of it, or invite other people to go. If it's not just you and your significant other, maybe you guys can go on a bowling, a bowling night, or something like that. I mean, I don't know. I don't play golf, or I don't do a lot of that stuff. So, but I mean, just try to find something fun to do. Like I said, playing Warzone or another type video game, like what we're going to get to do on Saturday, right? We get to play DD. So I haven't done that in a couple of weeks, and I miss it. I can't wait. It's this weekend, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
It's Saturday, this coming Saturday.
So I'm looking forward to it. So it's everyone has something different in their life that brings them enjoyment, and there's nothing wrong with that. Just because you and I happen to like to play Dungeons and Dragons doesn't mean everybody wants to do it, right? No. But correct. We can spend hours and hours thinking about pretending to be somewhere we're not, doing something that we're not really doing because it's in our imagination, but it's still exciting and it's fun for us. And someone else might find, something else that brings joy to them in some other concept and the way that they have to bring it in. But you got to do it. I mean, I recommend that people try to do those things, because it's just our way of it. It's our escapism, and I think so many people have lost the ability to have somewhere to escape to, through movies or music or games or art, outdoor activities, or just so much out there to offer. We just have to, start pushing ourselves and making ourselves make an effort to find different things that are take us away from our humdrum life for just a little while, and let us enjoy something that other people may wish they had, later on when you're talking about it, something that you got a chance to do that someone else will say, gosh, I wish I would have. I've told 2 or 3 people about getting to play DD, and they're like, I wish I could do something like that. And I go, well, you can. You just have to get online and start looking up, other people that are interested in the same thing that you want to do, and see what happens. So, and if I hadn't been talking to the right person, I wouldn't even have known about it. So if you don't talk to people, how are you ever going to find anything? Right?
Correct.
So, but yeah, I recommend this movie. I think it's a great movie. I think if you haven't seen it yet, you need to find someone to watch it with you, sit down, be ready to laugh. And if you have seen it before, I recommend that, and you laugh through it or whatever, I think you should watch it again, because it's just a gem of a movie when it comes to comedy. And knowing that we're all aging and that we're never going to be young forever, and laughing at it. That's the best way to handle anything, not tragedy, but something you have no control over. When you have no control over knowing that you're going to age, why not laugh at yourself as you're learning to live with getting older? And do it in style and grace. I don't know how else to put it, but I definitely recommend it. It's a great movie.
On a scale of 1 to 10, where does this sit for you?
I don't know. I'd say it's about an 8 for me. Just simply because of the part where, John Travolta's character, to me, it just seemed kind of, out of all the characters, his was the flattest one. His the one with the least, if you could take one character out of the movie and not really change the movie that much, it could be his character.
Yes.
Because you could have had Macy be the one that's running from, let's say, one of the characters during the whole thing when he realizes they're going to take his motorcycle, trips and falls and knocks down everybody's motorcycle. And the very last one hits the ground, and a spark from the kickstand or whatever starts a fire. It could have changed it up a little bit and not even had the one character be the reason why the biker bar were down. So I'm just saying, but without the other 3 characters, I don't think the movie would have worked. But John Travolta, when he was able to, did add good comic relief to the movie.
See, I think the movie is a solid 6. It's not my favorite film, but it's got some charm to it. It's got some definite charm for it to me. I think it's definitely a film that people they watched it back in the day. If they're questioning if it's a good movie, they should probably watch it again and decide for themselves if they like it. I loved the movie back in the day. Now I feel like the movie's picking on me.
Well, it is. It's life is picking on us. I mean, all of us have aged, and we all age. Every morning we wake up, we're a day older. You know what I mean? So do we want to grow old gracefully? Do we want to enjoy what we have left of our lives? And that's all on us. We're the only ones that can make the decisions of what we're going to do tomorrow. Are we going to just sit in a chair or in front of a computer all day and just every morning get up and do the same thing and sit in front of a computer all day? Or are we going to get up and join a gym or take some dance classes or sign up for a softball team or, go horseback riding or go hiking or fishing or, it's up to us to give ourselves entertainment, and whether or not we want to live a healthier life or just smoke a pack of cigarettes a day or whatever it is. It's up to us to make the decisions for ourselves. But I like the concept that we get to make our own decisions. That don't let anybody else come and say, "Oh, you need to try this, you need to try that," and rag you into doing something you don't really want to do simply because they're dragging you to do it. Now, if you are in a relationship and the other person says, "Hey, let's try doing something," and everything they come up with, you're not interested in, why not think of something like I said? One weekend you do what they want to do, and the next weekend you try something that you want to try, and go together or do it separately. Have where you can have one day a week where you're allowed to go do whatever it is. You want to go to the shooting range and just shoot targets, go for it. And then the next week, the other one gets to pick and choose where they want to go. So, there's compromise in everything. But if you want to stop the boredom, you got to get off your ass and, go do something. Use that time wisely because you may not have next weekend.
That's true. That's true. I think this movie's a good movie. I don't think it's great, but I think it's definitely worth your time. And the more I watch it, the more I feel like the movie's picking on me. But that's just what you're right. Time is picking on me. It's picking on all of us.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's some watchable moments in this. I think this movie stands up pretty well, especially for the fact that we haven't had a good comedy come out in years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that it's a really, there's not been a lot of good comedies since 2000.
Mm-mm.
Count them, people. Not a lot of good comedies.
Mm-mm.
So this movie does stand up above a lot of the others. This was your pick.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah,
for
we're a
those,
week behind because I was sick last week.
you're fine. We had a chill stream last week. I had a lot of people come into the chat, just kind of interested as to what would I talk about, and we filled up like 15 people at one point. It was great, but
So,
well, no, I mean it was just I apparently had a topic people wanted to discuss. And next week, the movie I want to talk about is Hungar the Starvarian's recommendation, Logan's Run.
Logan's Run. Okay, we'll do that one. That's a great movie.
It was not the movie I was thinking I was gonna have you watch. There is another movie I want to watch, but I want Hungar is a great guy, and I recognize that we were in a chat or panel the other day, and he's not at the top of his health game right now. He's kind of on that slope that I'm on, where you got to be careful with what you're doing because your body is not 18 anymore. So he gave a $5 super chat tonight, and I'm just going to say for certain things that can be bought, he recommended a movie that I love to watch. Let's talk about it next week.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sounds good.
I'm looking forward to this. Janet, during last week, while everything else was going on, is there anything else you wanted to talk about that you didn't get a chance to talk about? I'm going to give you the open forum, hon.
I don't know. I pretty much talked everybody's ear off tonight because I've been sitting around with bored to death. No, I can't think of anything. I mean, I pretty much said as much as I can think of about everything that popped in my head about this movie. But I really thought it was good. I mean, I really enjoyed this movie, even though to me it was a man's movie. It wasn't really, a romantic comedy as much as people might want to say it was. I don't think it was. I think it was a coming of age, basically movie of real age, old age of four best friends who's realized that their lives were passing them by and they were missing out, all because they were thinking they were doing the right thing, which they were, because they were all trying to just be, good husbands or good friends and take care of their responsibilities, and which is what everybody's American dream is. But at the detriment of their lives, of their enjoyment of their lives, of seeing days gone by, you know what I mean? That type of thing. So I enjoyed the movie way more than you did. I'm surprised because I figured more men would, but I haven't got to really sit and talk to any men that have seen this movie. So,
It's not a bad film. It's got a good quote unquote message to it. It's just that when I watched it in my 20s, early 30s, excuse me, it was a funny film.
mm-hmm.
I didn't recognize my father sitting on the couch when he's watching it with me, and he's shifting uncomfortably in his chair. And 15 years later, I got to do the same thing. Colonoscopy has been scheduled, Mr. Lombardo.
Well, we all age. That's a fact of life, and a lot of people don't like thinking about knowing that we each have real mortality awaiting for us. And but I didn't look at it so much as my end is creeping up on me. You know what I mean? But what made me focus on was wanting to make sure that when I do go, and if I do go next week because of whatever, I get hit by a bus or something, that I made an effort, the best of my ability, to try to enjoy my life as much as I could before it was over. So that's what I recommend, is that, even if you're having stuff going on where your health isn't perfect or anything, still try to think of something. What's something you haven't done, whether it's on a computer or it's a sculpture you want to make, or going to a restaurant you haven't been to. I mean, try to focus on something every month that you haven't done or that you would like to try, a food that you haven't tried, anything. And just try to get something and add something new to your life that you haven't done before. Stretch your boundaries.
That is some good advice. It really is. That's one way people can grow, by doing something that they haven't done ever, or by doing something that they used to do all the time, and now with an older mindset, with new wisdom and information, you might go into an older hobby of yours really just knocking it out of the park.
Mm-hmm.
A friend of mine, a friend of mine used to play guitar when he was in high school, and recently he picked up the guitar again, and he left me a voicemail of him jamming out on a guitar. I'm like, that's just awesome, And
Mm-hmm.
he'd been out of it forever because of literally his wife and kids. Because he used to be a touring musician. He was a session musician in LA for a bit. He went over to New York, did session work over there too, and then he found a girl. He moved back to our miserable, humble abode, our own humble home in Illinois, and he went my wife and kids route, and he did nothing with his life. I mean, I hate to say it, but he basically just took a regular job like most of us men do, and he took a very boring life, and he was miserable. And you could see it when you'd say, "How you doing, man?" And he just kind of wince at you like, I used to have enjoyment. I remember high fives. I remember having sex. I remember doing the things that make you happy as a man, like chewing on steak with your friends. And he wasn't doing it. And then his wife asked him not long ago, she's like, we need to have a discussion with the counselor because our marriage is in tatters. Our kids are grown and we need to do something. He's like, this is what I want. And she's like, what? And he's like, I want to play again. I want to play music again. And so he gave me a voicemail 2 days ago. It was Saturday. And my heart leapt for joy because he's a hell of a player. He sounds like Steve Vai, but unrefined, which
Mm-hmm.
some people just understood what I said. And I'm sorry for those of you that don't, but he's a very talented guitarist. And I look forward to hearing more of his stuff as time goes on. Hopefully he gets published, or hopefully he gets into the internet game where he just drops his song on his YouTube channel, run his band as a SoundCloud, and it gets picked up by the music stations I listen to, which I don't listen to terrestrial radio. That stuff's garbage. I listen to curated internet stuff because it seems like it's got more music theory in their picks. So that's just me. I know I'm a snob, but I really can't wait to hear more of his stuff.
Well,
And
that's great. I'm glad that that opportunity was able to circle back and for him to have the chance to be able to try that again.
it's weird. It really is weird because a lot of people, they forget their loves. What was something you did when you were in middle school or high school that you loved to do all the time, every day if you could, Janet? What was it?
Horseback riding.
Last time you went horseback riding was?
Um, mm, Last summer.
All right, you're going to go into 2023 with 18 months between then and New Year's Day. That's what you're telling me.
No, I'm not gonna. I don't think that I'm gonna get to go horseback riding this winter. It's gonna be too cold unless I go somewhere warm and do it, like going down to maybe the Bahamas and riding on the beach, bareback on horseback. That would be awesome.
Corpus Christi has a horseback on the beach business. There's a horseback riding on the beach in Mustang Island. You just have to Google it and you can find it. But there's places that do that not too far from here.
Something that if I could do something, plan on something for me now. One thing I've been thinking about is the last two get-togethers with the the Nerdrotic group and the Geeks and Gamers. All those people. I would love to do that. I wanted so bad to go to the what was the name of it?
The NerdCon, the Nerdrotic, or there was one in California.
The one where it's at the park, but not Disney, the other park. I'm trying to remember the name of it. Where Universal, and they everything's Halloweeny. That's my favorite holiday is Halloween. I would have loved to have gone to that and just with a big group of people and have like a meet and greet with all my friends that I've met on YouTube and friends I've met on Twitter, Discord, just get a bunch of us together somehow and get to just go and meet, and especially the ones that you've already learned their voices. You know what their voice sounds like, and just wander around and listen to people talking and saying, I know that voice, and then getting to be able to put a face with the voices. I just think would be really, that'd be a lot of fun because I feel like I already know people, so if I could ever get to meet them. I mean, I was so surprised just watching some of the videos that I got to see from Vegas when a bunch of them got to go to Vegas. I was just so surprised because when I got to see like Comics Division, from all the times I've watched him on his shows, a Monday night yelling at parked cars and all that, seeing him sitting in his chair, he just has the look about him. I was like a big biker kind of dude, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then when I got to see some of the pictures and found out he's not even really tall.
Nope.
So
he's as short as I am.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So there's little things that it's going to be exciting to when I do get to finally meet people and get my picture taken with them, and get autographs and things like that. I think it'd be really, really, real exciting just to get to meet everybody in person, and not just the big guys, but getting to meet people I recognize their names in the chat. You know what I mean? That would be, I don't know. I just think that'd be a really cool thing that I never would have ever thought about doing, 10 years ago, because who would have done that? Who wanted to set up greetings and meet and greets with people that you met on a chat room? You know what I mean? Who would ever think of that? And I'm not talking about like Tinder or something like that. I'm talking about actual people that you have interactions with in a chat room because you both like comic books, or you both like cool movies, or whatever other things that we're talking about, Star Trek or Star Wars, things like that. And get to have just a big room full of people that all have like-minded likes as you do. I just think, I don't know. I just never would have ever thought of that concept 10 years ago, which is something I'd look forward to now. That's something if I was going to save my money and I'd know I'd get to go to a location somewhere and get to meet a bunch of people, even if I only get to meet a few of them, it's better than not meeting any of them, to me.
I want to go, and I know I'm not a big participant on his chats, but I want to go hang out at Dallas whenever Loki does his con next year, his Valhalla con or whatever that is, because Loki's got a lot of vacillation with a lot of the people that I listen to are in his chats or on his panels.
Yeah,
and, like he's from the Doomcock crowd.
Yeah.
Primarily. So like there's already some like serious love there. because I enjoy Doomcock quite a bit. I don't talk about Doomcock a lot because I understand where Kinnell came from when Kinnell had his real issue with Doomcock and that caused the entire schism. But I really like Doomcock. I just think he's a fun guy.
I love Doomcock too. I loved him when they did the Inquisition and when they did Exozone. But if there was a way that he could rent like a venue and everybody has to leave their they have lockers or whatever to put your phones and stuff in, so there's no pictures or anything, just to get to have like a little VIP, or I'd even pay money to have a VIP and get patted down so you can't take a camera or something in there and be able to get to meet him in person. I think it would be just I would love to do that. I mean, I would love to meet him. I think he's awesome. He makes me laugh. He's very, very entertaining. And he seems like he's got a heart of gold, even though he's supposed to play the big bad guy type thing. But and all the people in the chat and the people he has on his panels and things like that, I just think that would be really cool. A real cool meet and greet group too. I'm sure there's ways you could be able to get around with not worrying about, people being able to say, "Oh, I got a picture of them" or whatever else, or even wear a mask the whole time. People do it a lot. I've seen lots of people do that at different Comic Cons, but I think there'd be a way to do it. Especially if he was able to do like a VIP one where people could pay for the privilege to get to meet him. I bet people would be willing to do something like that with him. But it's a shame. But he's the one that likes his.
He loves his anonymity.
Yeah, he likes staying out of the limelight, which is not a lot of things. Not a lot of people could do that. I was fine with doing that and not letting anybody see me without my glasses or whatever. But so many people constantly hounded me. I mean, every single day. I don't know how Doomcock does it. I guess after you've doing it for a little while, you get to where people just quit asking. But I just never did make it that far.
I'm just gonna say I'm happy that you come out as your real self, and the Discord direct messages I get are pretty flattering for you. I'm just
I don't hear any of it. So I hear some of it. I mean, from the little bit the people that talk to me about it. But I mean,
my DMs are not nearly as thirsty that I receive. Because people treat me like I'm your cousin, which is great. Like, okay, yeah, well, don't fuck with her. She's a friend of mine. And that's just kind of how it works. But if you want to get an idea of what it's like on a Tuesday, wander into your Discord and just check out all the Indian men that are like, Janet, we miss you. We love you, baby. Please, we'd like to talk to you.
I did have one gentleman that was always asking me to call him and stuff like that. And he was also doing it on Instagram and on YouTube. So he's not in my Discord anymore. And he's not on my Instagram. Because when you start making phone calls all the time through Instagram on my phone, and you're always calling me. I've asked him nice not to do it, which I just had to finally just say I'm blocking him.
So, that's one thing I try not to do with you whenever I'm like, Janet, need to talk to you.
No, I don't mind you calling me. I'm talking about this wasn't even my phone number. He was just trying to call me on my on Instagram constantly. And I told him, I said, if you want me to talk to you on Discord, I can go talk to you, but you got to tell me, hey, can we go to Discord? I want to ask you something or whatever. And I do that. I've done that with lots of my my fans or whatever. But but you got to be, I don't know, that's just creepy when you just out of the blue, you're getting a call and you didn't even, and they didn't even bother to even give you a heads up first and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's not, someone that even knows my real name. So,
I'm going to keep that secret for a very, very, very long time until you come out with it yourself.
I don't think I will. I mean, right off the bat, when I first started doing any of this stuff, I was getting death threats. People telling me to kill. They want to. I mean, even on my Instagram, telling me that, if I wouldn't talk to them or whatever, that I was gonna not wake up in the morning. Just sick stuff. So I can see why a lot of people don't want anyone to know who you are, because here you are just trying to enjoy other people by just talking and experiencing things that you like together, like different comic book concepts and just movies and other things that are fun. And you can't even do that and I don't know how these women do it. There's women on YouTube and other apps that show pretty much almost full nudity and shit. I don't know how they deal with any of these people, and I just show some cleavage and I get people wanting me to cut my wrists or I hang myself in my closet and stuff like that. I don't understand it. It's perverted and it's nuts. I don't understand.
That's not how I expect that conversation to go. I mean, she's showing boobs, Wonder what's in her direct messages, Baby, you're so fun. You should hang out more.
It's and most of my stuff is just fun. It's like my pickup lines are corny and I tell a few jokes, like my last toast that I did about being a duck in the ocean, in the ocean of beer, that kind of stuff. Sorry, my allergies are terrible, and I missed my shots last.
Don't apologize for that again, okay? You're forbidden from apologizing about your allergies.
I missed my shots last week, so this week when I get them, it's going to be worse because I'm not supposed to go a whole week and miss it. But I was just not feeling good at all. But it happens every time I go to Texas for some reason. I'll go to Texas for a few days, and when I come back, I end up being sick. It's just weird.
That's just Texas. I mean, it's just upset you didn't stay. You're supposed to stay here, and nobody ever does. Well, I will say that I did receive a good message from a friend of mine who may be watching us right now, because I got 6 lurkers and chatters on just YouTube. But I will say that a friend of mine who used to be in person on my Saturdays is going to be, within the next year, him and his family are moving back to San Antonio. So there will be the regurgitation or the classification of my gaming table being half and half in person and online. It will be half and half. Half will be at the house, half will be on the web. And I can't wait. I cannot wait. And chat, by the way, the chat is kind of like on fire and like, death threats? Oh, hell no. Janet's got an army now. Yeah, Janet, let us at him. Say what?
Well, I've talked to you about it before.
Yeah. Oh. No, Janet, I swear, if she's, you've got 2 groups of people that follow. You got guys that are really thirsty, and you have another crew of people that are just like, we're good, Janet. You need anything, give us a call. And that's kind of, I've noticed that you've cultivated the second group just out of your basic friendliness and you being on these streams or being on the other streams, and you've done this really cute circuit where you've gone around here and there, and I know that your channel's growing pretty well, because when I go there, the numbers keep getting further and further up. It's like watching Shadow and Son. He's got a growing channel. As much as he doesn't think he does, he actually does. But
it is funny how I wanted, all I wanted was YouTube channel, and then when I decided to do the
Instagram.
TikTok, since it was shorts, okay, because YouTube, there wasn't a concept for shorts, and I just thought that's stupid. And no one, and it'd just be dumb to do it. So I went ahead and started with TikTok, and then I kind of petered out. It's like as soon as I get close to 9,000, every time I drop hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of followers, and then they start going back up again, and then it drops back down again. It's really weird. It's like they got it set up to where they don't want you to get past a certain number unless, and then all of a sudden I start getting all these messages from TikTok. Oh, pay us this money and we'll help you get, your more subs, things like that. So I just said, oh, well, I'm just not gonna worry about it. And then I also did Instagram, but I didn't push it. I didn't push my Instagram. But then I got, I just kept putting videos, and I started changing it up a little bit, not just putting just Janet from Another Planet, because I'm not putting anything of my 18 and older stuff on anything besides YouTube. So every time I do those, I have to have something to fill that spot. And I put a couple new videos in November on Instagram, and I've got one that's got almost it's got 1.6 million views on it. Right?
Shit.
I was like, what that's great. I mean, I'm happy because it hit whatever algorithm, I guess. And
Really?
it's still going up. But I guess it happens, but the channel I want it to happen on, it's probably never going to happen on, which is YouTube. But then I went to that live stream on the live space on Twitter, and I was in there with Elon Musk when he was doing his interview with over 1 million people in the space.
Really?
I do a lot of spaces. I host a lot of spaces, and I co-host a lot of all different topics. And he was talking about different things, and he's talking about basically making it where you can monetize yourself by doing videos and live streams and stuff, basically a lot like what we're doing right now. So if I can do that kind of stuff there, I won't have to push it so much over here. So YouTube's going to have somebody a run for their money going on besides, Rumble and all the other channels. So see what happens. Be interesting. But that was really exciting because Elon, I had a room yesterday. I opened a space because half the Twitter wouldn't work. Because apparently a couple servers got fried or whatever, because that space was so big with over 1 million people in it, with Elon being on there live talking about his plans for the future of Twitter. And so I was able to get on and open a space, and it actually worked. And so I was sending out invites and handing out microphones. So we were up and open, me and Ultra Gay Dad was my co-host, and we had a space for over 6.5 hours. So we spent the whole day in there just talking about random shit, inviting guests up and talking, and it was fun. And guess who showed up in my space? Scott Pressler was in there for a little while, and I couldn't give him a mic, but he was in there. So it was interesting to get to see a bunch of people that showed up to come in the space to see whether or not they could even see what was going on, because Twitter was broke. And that was the name of my room. Our space we named it Elon Broke Twitter. So that was a lot of fun. I don't know if anybody understands what I'm talking about. Unless you're on Twitter and you do Twitter spaces, you probably wouldn't understand what it means. But it was a lot of fun, and I enjoy that. As you can tell, I like talking. I'm not ashamed to admit that. But it was fun. Enjoyed it.
We've been on for about 2.5 hours, and I really appreciate everybody coming in the chat tonight and discussing things and putting up with my technical inadequacies, and I appreciate you all being patient. You are all saints, in my opinion, for tonight. Thank you. Shadow and Sun put up a new video today
and I put the link in the chat right here. And if you want to understand the mind of a gamer, he's got a playlist of a lot, like 24 videos called Why We Play the Game. And they're suitable for just like when you're running to the store or when you're running across town. If you have 20 minutes, you can usually get through one, maybe two. And he's got a good channel. He's 18 away from the big 500. He's doing a giveaway. So if you have not subscribed to Shadow and Sun yet, I would like you to check out his channel. Give a couple of his videos a spin. He does a video on Sundays with our friend Connell talking about classic movies. He does a lot of reviews and various things with his son Jack, and that little man is amazing. So I do recommend you guys do that. I think the theme for tonight's show was enjoy the little things while you have the time to get off the road, get off the beaten path, and go sniff the daisies. Go enjoy yourself. I think Wild Hogs summarizes that. I think the passing of Our Lady, Lieutenant Savick, Miss Kirstie Alley, the late, great Kirstie Alley, I think it's going to be awful hard for me to, this week has sucked. This last week has just bit the big one because I've been dealing with. We had a guy in the tabletop community died, Ed Pugh, and I used to watch his Reaper live streams a lot, and he was just fun to listen to. He was the CEO of Reaper Miniatures, the people that make such wonderful things as this and other items that litter this desk and my front room. And it feels weird. And then there's been some other people in the community that died. Julius Rosenstein, one of the men in the back rooms of Palladium, he was a warehouser, and he helped that community over there. He wrote for them. He did editing. He was every part of that company as Kevin is, because he had been part of it since the inception. Him and Kevin met when Kevin was 21. And in terms of Geekville, like tonight, finding out Kirstie Alley's passed, it's like, ugh, what? And I'm not just saying that, just because I'm a geek and I have a crush on Lieutenant Savick. I mean, she was hot, and Wrath of Khan, she was hot, and Look Who's Talking Now. It just, she's one of the most beautiful ladies that ever graced the screen, and she had a cunning wit. She was fun to listen to. In the last couple of weeks, last couple of months, she had really gotten very, God, I hate to say red pilled. I don't want to make this political, but she was very much anti the woke bullshit agenda.
Mm-hmm.
And with her passing of cancer, surprise cancer, it's something it doesn't sit right with me. And I don't know how else to say it. I'm not saying conspiracy theory. I'll let Alex Jones do that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to end it on a downer, but I do want you guys that have the moment to spend time with your families. We got the stupid holidays here. What better excuse for you to invite that one crazy uncle or that one nerdy niece, that one person you can't stand? Go ahead and invite them to your family to get together, because it might be the last time you get a chance to humiliate them in front of the family by saying a lewd or lascivious joke or something that just makes them spun up. And there's no better joy at your family get-togethers than getting one in on a rival in the blood. So enjoy the time you have. And I know that sounds terrible, but I'm not telling you like hug your kids tonight, kiss your loved ones. You're going to do that anyway. But take the opportunity to do something kind of crazy or stupid and just be your honest self with the rest of your family that loves you.
Yeah, that's going to be hard. You're going to have to that's something you have to learn to live with, is the fact that as you get older, more and more the people that you looked up to in movies, any kind of entertainment, music industry, directing, writing, art, authors, all that, you're going to start seeing more and more of them that just aren't around anymore. And it's because as you get older, they're probably a lot older than you already, so they'll start noticing that they're not around anymore because they passed on.
Yeah.
And I just remember my mother getting upset quite a few times that her favorite singers or whatever had passed, or favorite movie stars. And she says it forces you to have to realize that, we're all gonna be gone one day, and that makes you focus on your own life when those things happen, because you know that one day that's going to be you. You're the one that everybody's going to be talking about, that passed, and you're just going to be a memory now. And that's why it's important that we all try to, tell everyone that you love, that you love them, that thank you for being my friend. Thank you for being there for me. Because today might be the last time I get to say, thank you, So as long as we can all do that and be appreciative of what we have, you might be the last person that says that to someone. I mean, it's a gruesome thing to think about it, but when it does happen one day and you say, oh, I just saw him yesterday, I just gave him a hug yesterday, you'll be thankful that you did it, because you did get that last hug in before it was too late. Because there's lots of questions on Twitter, how these little things go by, and it says, if you could make one wish, what would it be? A couple times I've wished that I would just love, if you could sit on a park bench with someone for an hour, who would it be? And I would always say my mom. That's the one person I would say every single time. If I could sit with anybody for an hour on a bench, I would sit and talk to my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
We don't get this life forever. We're here for a good time, not a long time.
Yep, that's right.
Appreciate you being here with me tonight, Janet.
I'm glad I'm here this week. I wish I felt 100%, but I definitely will be by next week. But I
just get some airborne. Get some.
Yeah, I've got filters in every room. Like over there in the corner, you hear it kick on sometimes, and I pay a lot of money for those filters. They're very expensive, and
get yourself 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C.
I already do that. I already take tons and tons of vitamin D and all the different zinc. I mean, I'm taking everything, believe me. But, you can't go 5 years and not get at least a cold once in a while. So, hey, I'm lucky. I'm knock on wood that I haven't been sick, besides allergy wise. Now, what was so bad is it wasn't allergies. It was a migraine. Oh. I mean, I take a migraine medicine, and normally it helps. But when I have a really bad migraine, I can feel it coming on, I take one of these other pills. I don't remember what it's called. And I can only take 2 in 24 hours. So, and usually after I take that, within a couple of hours, it starts to get better. But this one didn't. I mean, I took a pill, and within 2 hours, I was in bed, because it was... it just makes you nauseous. It felt like my head was it just explode, basically, is what it felt like. And then, so I woke up, the next day, and I took another pill, and then I fell asleep. And then it was another day that went by when I woke up, and my head was still hurting, but it wasn't a migraine anymore. And then after that is when I was, I missed my shots. I slept through them, and then I hadn't been taking any of my meds. I went 4 days without taking any allergy medicine or anything. So now I'm trying to get my body back to where I was, where I wasn't stuffed up and runny, and my eyes itchy and all that stuff because I keep my stuff even by working out, eating right, taking my meds, and I usually don't have a problem. When I say meds, I mean my allergy medicine, like my antihistamine and that stuff. So, but it's going to take another week probably before I get back to where I don't feel, like my allergies are killing again, even in the winter. Because see, I'm allergic to molds, mildews, dust. I get shots in each arm every week. Just so I can help my body not have such severe reaction. And I have to carry EpiPen around with me. So it's, it's weird. But I mean, even though they go, why are you carrying EpiPen in the winter? There's no bees. And I'm like, yeah, but we don't know if I'll walk into a room or a house and someone's, mixed chemicals together, what my reaction might be to it. And if I could die before I get a chance to get an ambulance to come. So I have to stab myself in the leg with something to keep me from, going so far over I can't come back. It's just something I'm used to. I mean, I've gotten used to it over time. But a lot of people don't understand anything about allergies unless they've seen someone have a severe reaction to peanuts or pineapple or it's usually food. Most people are allergic to foods, but mine's not so much food, it's the environment. It's like grasses and, dust mites. Believe it or not, dust mites, I went from, after 3 years of shots, I went one notch from a 7 to a 6. So maybe in another 3 years, I'll be down to a 5. I mean, it just depends. Everybody's body's different.
Don't do it. Don't do it anymore.
You used to do allergy shots too?
Back in middle school and high school, I did. It was not fun. Had to do a quarterly one that it was like going to your Navy doctor where they give you a shot and like for 3 days you're just and you're just miserable. You're there's no coming out of like a flu shot situation and you're perky. When they gave you that, whatever that super shot was, you're like, I'm gonna get sick. That's exactly what happened.
And the thing is, people just, anyone who doesn't, it's just like trying to tell someone it was like they, have a baby or pass a, what is that, a gallstone, guys say that thing. And I'm like, well, I've never had a gallstone, so I can't really, even though someone could tell me, try to explain it to me, I'm really never going to understand because I haven't done it. But I have sympathy because I have hurt my back before, so that was one of the reasons why I started working out more and more and more, is because the doctor told me if you have a strong stomach muscles, it'll help your lower back with keeping your lower back stronger, because your muscles of your stomach are stronger to hold your back and sit up in a certain way or whatever, so you don't have as much pressure on your lower back, because you are like my muscles in my shoulders and things like that. It's just something you have to get used to doing. And the bad thing is that if you don't do it, like I went almost a whole week without exercising, and man, I went and I'm sore. I can feel my shoulders and stuff, how sore they are, because I hadn't done it, because I was in bed, pretty much. So, it's the whole thing is just getting back into it again, and not giving up. You know what I mean? Try to stay in your routine where you feel good about yourself.
Yeah. I spent the last 2 days of last week, I spent at a job site digging a hole. And I made a 3 foot by 3 foot hole in really rocky caliche and soil.
Mm-hmm.
It's a place where rocks accumulate and dust filled in the gaps, and that was what it was. So I'm there
Gravel yard,
breaking shit like all day Saturday. I was like, and my friend Greg had his wedding, and I missed it. Like, I'm sorry, dude, I'm not coming. I don't even think I texted him because like we hadn't talked much leading up to it. But I told the best man, I'm like, dude, I'm not getting out of this bed. I'm sore. I
Yeah.
have worked too much lately. And he's like, well, what are you doing? I said, I dug a like 27 cubic feet last week in and of itself, and then I did 9 cubic feet on Friday, and I'm done. You know, I'm FUBAR. And he's like, you got to take better care of yourself, Bubba. I'm like, well, no shit. He's like, you want to go to the restaurant with us after the wedding reception? I'm like, they're not going to go to the restaurant with you guys. They're going to go home, and you and your wife would go to this place and overeat after you had reception food. No, I'm good, man. I'm laying in bed. I'm comfy right now. I'm on pain meds, and I'm not even drinking, which was a really sober weekend for me, I might add. But
Well, that's good. You shouldn't drink when you're taking pain meds, anyways.
okay.
Hey, I posted pictures on my Twitter of me doing shots the weekend I was gone and listening to music. And man, that was fun. I've never had, I think it was Tico's or Tito's vodka. And you take it and they mixed it with something, but I'm not 100% sure. And then you dip your little shot glass in sugar. And then and then you pour your drink into it. And we were doing shots with that. And man, that was yummy stuff. And I was shocked I didn't have a hangover the next morning.
I like Tito's vodka, but that's just 90 miles north of us in Austin where they make it. It tastes like the water actually comes from closer than Austin. Like, say, there's a couple springs around New Braunfels, and just east of New Braunfels, there's this place called Dripping Springs, which doesn't sound that appetizing, but I recommend every adult I know to go to Dripping Springs, Texas, because one, there's a lot of good whiskey stills that are there, and two, it's got the best. Within like 6 miles, there's a place called Salt Lick Barbecue, and it's got the best barbecue joint I've ever been to in my life. If I ever make a movie, one of the scenes will be at Salt Lick Barbecue, and you'll be seeing my fat face eating like barbecue. First time I went there, like I had the sausage sandwich. No, guys, it's not gay. I want to try the sausage of any barbecue joint first, because if their sausage is good, then probably the rest of their food's good. But if the sausage sucks, I'm good. I had the sausage. It was bad. We're not eating here, because the sausage you get up from off the floor, you sweep it together, you throw it in the meat processor, and it comes out with a little wrapping on it. Anyway, so I had the sausage sandwich, and I grabbed their house barbecue sauce. It's mustard based. It's got a little bit of caliente in it. Drizzles that on there, and I'm eating it. And I don't know if I was hungry or if I was just that good, but I'm like shoving the sandwich and the bun and the meat. I'm like, I can't eat it fast enough. I can't. And I'm like, this is so good. And afterwards, I sat down. The lady's like, "Are you okay?" I said, "I'm going to order another one of those." I don't know if it was that good or if I'm just that hungry.
You were probably that hungry, and it was probably good. So it was probably
really good. But Salt Lick Barbecue is like there's great barbecue all over this area. You ever come down here, I'll show you this little town called Lockhart. There's 4 5-star restaurants there that serve barbecue. It's wonderful. And like my wife's been wanting to go there, and so like, okay, we got to make a family truckster event. So we'll do that. But Lockhart is definitely peak barbecue eating, and they have a Salt Lick Barbecue over there. They've got other barbecue shops over there. It's amazing. Sorry. I guess I'm hungry now. We can wrap up so I can go eat.
I'm hungry too. I'm gonna give me something to eat.
Hey. Appreciate everybody being here. The handful of us that are left on YouTube and our other affiliates, appreciate you guys being here. Janet, what do you have going on this week?
I haven't read any of my book, so if I feel up to it, I'm going to try to read some more of my story. And I'm pretty sure that, because I thought I missed Drew's show last week, but he said he didn't do it because he hadn't been feeling well himself. So tomorrow night it will be on the United Resistance again on Drew's channel. So and then something's going on with Tokyo Trekker. He's wanting me to. He said something. He asked me if I wanted to run as his vice president. So I don't know what that means, but we'll see. He's supposed to send me some information, but I'm going to just start trying to make a few more videos and stuff now that I'm feeling better. But I made one. I made a couple, but I sounded so hoarse and everything. So, and plus I can hardly do it without sneezing or coughing. So I'm hoping that in the next few days, once I get my allergies, and see tomorrow or Wednesday morning, I get my shots. So I don't know how I feel after all that anyways, but I'm just going to try to get back to normal, making my videos and doing what I normally do every week. So we'll see what happens.
Well, Thursday on Table Breakers, we're going to be having a gaming stream. Connell will be running his game, and Roa's looking forward to live streams because it's been getting popular with my little crew lately. And so we're looking forward to this. Connell's going to run us through his fantasy game, and then Saturday, Janet returns with the rest of the party to the bowels of the Ebon Tooth and what is in the catacombs. So I can't wait to see what they find there.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah. Appreciate you being here tonight. Everybody in the chat, from Jedi Bill to Hungar the Starvarian to Shadow and Sun and everybody in between, thank you so much for showing up tonight. You were a big part of this. Appreciate you guys not telling everybody I'm a big softy for Kirstie Alley, but appreciate you. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.